Hi, welcome to this edition of Coastlines Television. I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, and I welcome you to sit back and relax, take a look at some of the things that the Chamber's been doing, and we have some great things to introduce you to. First and foremost, we took a ride on the Cape Cod Central Railroad this summer. We had a wonderful time, and we have some footage here we'd like to share with you. What goes on behind the scenes, how long the Cape Cod Central Railroad has been working here, and really all the fun things there are to do. Whether you're a tourist or a resident, come on board and check it out. Oh, hello. So I'm over here in Buzzards Bay with Rich Davis, the executive chef on board the dinner train run by the Cape Cod Central Railroad. Hello, Rich. How are you today?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Really excited. We're going to be getting on the train and going for a ride. My first time. I know a lot of people out there are dying to know all about it. So, we just want to ask you some questions. I know you've been in the restaurant business a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and, how you happen to be here on this train?
Well, I went to culinary school when I got out of high school and ended up on the Cape here and didn't know really what I was going to do. I ended up cooking hamburgers at an A&W root beer. I went to the Culinary Institute of America 40 years ago and graduated and moved out to Las Vegas. When I graduated, worked at Vegas hotels for a while. Then I moved to Cape Cod, and when I was 25, I was executive chef at New Seabury Country Club. Moved to Florida, worked in a French restaurant, got the 5 Gold Star Award at a Le Dome restaurant. I was in charge of 5 different restaurants down there. Came back to the Cape, worked at Anthony's Pier 4 as a chef, and then I moved to Anthony's Comaquit in Yarmouth, and then took Emeril Lagasse's place at the Dunphy's Hotel and Tara Hotel maybe 30 years ago. Stayed there 4 years and bought my own business, and I've been in my own catering restaurant business for the last 30 years, and I've done the railroad for maybe 21 years, and I just love doing it. It's just a unique operation, and it's just something special to me. I just think it was a challenge at first to do it, and it's still a challenge till today, but it's also a fun thing to do. It really is.
How many people can you take on board the train?
208 people.
So how is that different? What are the challenges with cooking for 208 people on a train that's moving and people who are looking out the windows and maybe not paying attention 100%?
It's different, but it's also the same. I mean, a tenderloin is a tenderloin. Mm-hmm. To make a good béarnaise sauce, you got to have the right ingredients. So it all starts with quality ingredients, and as you adapt, there's things in the restaurant you have to do. There's things on the train. I mean, you can't be poaching eggs. We have an eggs Oscar, which is similar to an eggs Benedict, and it requires poached eggs. You can't be poaching eggs with the train moving. You've got to poach your eggs ahead of time and hold them. So there's a lot of different little quirks that you learn to adapt to on a train. We start with raw vegetables. We have a cheese spread which I make with cream cheese. I whip cream cheese, salsa, garlic, and some herbs. I put that in a pastry bag, pump that out. We do our own marinated mushrooms, so that's the start of the train ride. Then we go to a seafood chowder, which we use fresh clams, sea clams, and quahogs. We use lobster meat. We use fresh shrimp. And then we go to a garden salad, which I use fresh mango. I use tomatoes, English cucumbers, a mixture of different things, and then we have a Zinfandel vinaigrette dressing, and then there's the main courses. We have a pistachio encrusted salmon, we have a roasted tenderloin with 2 different sauces and shrimp on the top, and then we have a chicken hunter style with leeks, wild mushrooms, tomatoes, and a Merlot wine sauce, and then dessert and coffee.
Wow, I'm so hungry right now just hearing about that. I'm really excited because we're going to be going on the train and actually getting to sample some of your cooking, so we're very excited about that. Any other final thoughts, anything else you want to share with us?
No, just that it's a great operation. The people that run it are great. The people that work with us are great. It's just a good, unique, fun thing to do. So.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and we're hoping many of our members and the people watching the show are going to take advantage of the train, come out and join you. I mean, we're having a ball over here. We can't wait to taste the food. First-class operation, so come on down and check them out. Rich, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mike. Yep, take care.
So we're here on the club car on the Cape Cod Central Railroad. I'm with Chris Pajerski, President and CEO of the railroad. Chris, thank you so much for having us on board.
Absolutely. Welcome onto the train today.
Well,
very nice. Nice of you guys to be on.
Well, thank you. Now, this has been, what, 10 years that you have been owned and
years.
operated this railroad?
Yes, sir. We bought the train in the late fall of 2005 and began operating it in the spring of 2006. Well, interestingly enough, we've offered pretty much the same meal service with many change-ups as far as menus and offerings and what have you. Every year we try something different relative to specials like wine trains and now the past couple of years we've done a beer tasting train.
I like that,
which
a
is
beer
actually,
train.
It's actually become pretty popular, and the local beer producers from Plymouth on down, it's been very, very good for the railroad.
Are you highlighting local breweries?
Yes.
So that's great. So that
Yep.
ties right into helping with the local economy.
Yep.
You getting a lot of local people come on board, or do you have tourists usually?
I think it's a blend. I think there's a complete variety of people that ride the train, and there is really no typical rider for the dinner train. I think the Cape gets 12 million people a year as far as an influx of tourists, and I think occasionally I like to go through the dinner train myself and ask, say, hey, where you from, and how'd you hear about us, and that kind of thing. And they're from all over the world, and we also have locals from the Cape or from the Upper Cape that they'll come and they'll do the dinner train or the brunch train once a year, but they'll have relatives that are coming in to visit. So it's really a complete blend. There is no typical customer.
Great. Now, I noticed we had to wait for the train bridge to come down, but somebody was saying it's really not the train bridge, it's a boat bridge, it's for the boats, but tell us a little bit about that and how that impacts the business.
Well, interestingly enough, the canal lift bridge was obviously built to support the rail traffic, and it was a predecessor bridge to it from back in the 1800s. That bridge was constructed in 1935 when they widened the canal. But maritime traffic does have the right of way, and although the Army Corps of Engineers works with us as well as the MBTA when they operate the passenger trains across it, so we try to get a window that they'll allow the bridge to be dropped to support our trains. It's not quite the same when we're running our freight trains. The freight trains end up with a lot of delays, especially during the busy time of the year when there's a lot of boat traffic.
Okay. So if there's people on board coming on a dinner train, if they can, they make way for you whenever possible.
They do. How it works is that there's about an hour's travel time, 60 minutes travel time, east and west of the Cape Cod Canal lift bridge, and so basically a boat entering the east end of the canal, Cape Cod Bay, they won't allow a boat greater than I think it's 330 tons of displacement. And similarly, out in Buzzards Bay, they won't let a boat of that size pass Cleveland Ledge Light, which is another 60 minutes out. Railroads originally ran all the way down to Provincetown, and I think in the 50s there was a reduction in the lines, and they basically brought the end of the line back to Yarmouth and into Hyannis. They were originally built both for passenger and freight service at the time. Since we've owned the railroad, we ran as far as North Falmouth, and then the line goes up into the Mass Military Reservation to the Upper Cape Transfer Station, which right now we're working on additional traffic to go up to the transfer station.
Did you call that the trash train?
Trash, lumber, fly ash, a number of different products that we can bring in. The experience of people coming on the food service trains, generally we like to give what they call a Pullman-esque feel, where back in the Pullman days, the food service, the white tablecloth food service, some of the meal choices, we try to stay somewhat period with those offerings. And then, of course, during the day on luncheon trains and the charters and things like that, they're much more volume-based, so you don't necessarily get the same feeling. This year we are operating the Polar Express from Buzzards Bay, which we have operated in the past with different variations, and this year we are running it out of Buzzards Bay. We're all looking forward to operating a very successful season, and it does have an impact on the local economy. Yeah, it runs. I believe it starts running the weekend of Thanksgiving, or right after Thanksgiving, right up until Christmas, or yeah, even a couple of days after Christmas.
And you said you're going to depart out of Buzzards Bay. Where does the train go?
It goes north out of Buzzards Bay up to the North Pole, which is a secret location, which we really can't divulge where that is.
And I wouldn't expect you to do that, but
Yeah.
good to know. So the children in Falmouth can know. At least they can come right up here, short ride up to Buzzards Bay. So this is great for everybody on the Upper Cape, even the
Absolutely.
Mid Cape. Come up to Buzzards Bay, get on the train, North Pole, Santa at the end of this trip.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you had mentioned Kayleen Jablecki and the team here. She's managing your team, and of course, it's always nice to have somebody from Falmouth on board your team. So,
Absolutely.
can you tell us a little bit about what Kayleen's been able to do for you, and then I'd like to ask her to say a few things.
Sure. Kayleen has well, first of all, she's been with us 3 years, and she has made things very, let's say, easier for myself to be less involved in the day-to-day operation. She does a great job. I wouldn't want to do her job. She has a great team. She has a good, the general manager of the company, Tony Farrar. They work together great. It is a real team effort sometimes against all odds. The things that they deal with, whether it's trees across the railroad in front of a train, or just the challenges are many. And Kayleen does a great job in marshaling all that together.
Now, you can tell your enthusiasm, Kayleen, for this position. I mean, it's amazing. Working with us and putting this whole thing together has been amazing. So, what's been the best part of working for the Cape Cod Central Railroad?
Well, there's never a dull moment here at the train. I've always enjoyed tourism. Initially, I had studied hotel administration in college, and I've always had an affection for tourism, for the tourism industry. It's been fun with the train. There was so much that we needed to improve and change, and a lot of opportunities to grow the business. And for myself, it's been rewarding to watch season over season how we've been able to do that. We offer a really unique opportunity here. The Cape has so much unspoiled beauty, and there's not a lot of opportunity to see it. If you're in a car and you're traveling on the Cape and you go to the beach and then you're stuck in traffic again, you're not going to see even a small percentage of what you can see when you ride the rails. From Hyannis, we have the Coastal Excursion Train, which is a 2-hour round trip narrated adventure that we allow people to hop on in Hyannis. We go through the villages of West Barnstable and Sandwich to the Cape Cod Canal and then back again. And they're going to learn things about the coastal ecology that they won't learn just visiting in their own car and kind of popping and stopping in different places when they come to visit the Cape. For the local people who live on the Cape, we have a new offering called the Coastal Ecology by Rail. It's a field trip train that we have partnered with the Thornton Burgess Society in Sandwich. Third graders in Sandwich did it last year, and we're hoping to see a lot of other schools on the Cape do it as well. They're going to see a side of the Cape that they won't know looking at a book. They get to ride the rails and stop and learn different things about the Cape and the beautiful area that they're growing up in that they're not going to be able to see, inside the classroom. And we also have, as Chris mentioned, our brunch train and our lunch train. One thing I've been focusing on is trying to add some special event trains this year and over last year. As you mentioned, we have the Rails and Ales beer tasting train. We work with 5 to 6 local breweries, including Cape Cod Beer, Mayflower Brewing, and some local distilleries. And then our chef takes whatever's in that beer and creates an appetizer that is specifically designed to complement that particular tasting of beer. We sold out within 2 weeks of listing that this year because it was so popular last year. As you mentioned, we're doing a wine tasting train this year. We do charter trains. We're running until late October this year because the cities of Wareham and Buzzards Bay are chartering the train to do special fundraisers for their town as well. So that's always an opportunity for Falmouth as well. Being a Falmouth resident, one of the first questions I had is why don't we run down the Falmouth line? And so that we added that 3 years ago, and this will be our 3rd year running the dinner train. A lot of people I see when I'm out and about around Falmouth, they don't know we run down there. So I thought, well, we need to get back involved with the chamber and let Falmouth residents know that they can ride the dinner train, which is something very unique. We have so many wonderful restaurants in Falmouth, but a lot of people might not know that you also have a moving restaurant right here that comes down to the town. For my 10th anniversary, long before I started working for the trains, about 7 years ago, we were looking for something unique to celebrate our 10th anniversary. And my husband Steve and I dined in this car, that booth in the back, and had chosen the dinner train. It was actually the lunch excursion that we did that day. And he's always been a fan of railroads and trains, and so we ourselves were looking for something unique, and we departed from Hyannis for that. Riding the dinner train is something that is going to allow people a very unique opportunity, as I mentioned before. It's a different perspective. It's 3 hours of, you don't have the social media, the Wi-Fi is not even on the train. It's 3 hours of time one-on-one, or actually an entire car full of your closest friends if you choose to rent out the entire car. And it takes you into a different era and back to days and time where it's unspoiled and you have time with the people around you. The dinner train in particular is going to give you a 5-course meal and a 3-hour ride departing from Falmouth, and you're going to go down and see some of the most beautiful track that we have on our entire line by leaving from Falmouth. As I mentioned, we stop at Back River, Monument Beach, Monks Park, and then we travel along this track to the historic railroad bridge. We'll go across the bridge into Buzzards Bay, Cohasset Narrows. We come back and we then travel along the Cape Cod Canal, and you'll get to ride all the way to Sandwich on the dinner train out of Falmouth. We have different routes available as well, so if you ride the dinner train from Falmouth, you're going to see some different sights than if you left out of Hyannis on a Thursday night, for example. We don't come down Falmouth. We go from Hyannis or West Barnstable, Sandwich to the canal, across the canal into Cohasset Narrows, and then back to Hyannis. If you ride Saturday nights, because of the flyer and sharing the track with the flyer, you're going to leave from Hyannis, and then you're going to get to come down Falmouth. So even though we, this summer, currently only have 2 departures from Falmouth, you can still ride down the Falmouth line by taking any Saturday night dinner train out of Hyannis.
And as we've said before, it is the loveliest part of the line.
It is, it's Falmouth.
Falmouth. Isn't Falmouth nice?
It is.
This is really nice.
When people come to Cape Cod, I believe that one of the first things in their mind is beaches. That's something obviously we are known for here on the Cape. And riding on the train and seeing it from the vantage point of a train looking out at the coastline is very different than sitting on the beach looking around and just seeing that limited area. By riding on our dinner train or our excursion trains, you're going to have the opportunity to see the beauty, the coastline of Cape Cod that you can only see from this vantage point.
So what are the special things that you're doing for the community? I know that you are very community oriented and appreciate all the community does to support the business and want to give back. What do you do? What are some of the plans right now for the community?
Specifically for Falmouth, we were contacted last year by the Falmouth Military Support Group. When the Wounded Warriors come to town in September, we offered them a chartered ride just as a gift to the Warriors, as a small token to thank them for all that they have done for service for our country. That was last September. We did a charter train. This year, they'll be riding the dinner train with us September 22nd after they do the Falmouth, the soldier ride in Falmouth down the bike path into Woods Hole, and then they're going to come ride the dinner train that evening. And that's just, a small thank you that we can give to them. As a member of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, which we just recently rejoined, that was very important to me as a Falmouth resident, but also as managing the Cape Cod Central Railroad. I believe that it's important to be a member of all of the chambers of the towns in which we go.
What made you want to do this? So you were a bit of a train aficionado, but what drove you 10 years, invest your time, invest money, energy, assemble this amazing team to put this thing together? What is it that drives you?
That's a very good question. I grew up in Canton, along the Stoughton branch of what was in the Penn Central, and I just was always fascinated with trains. Spent a lot of time down at Canton Junction watching the trains, and got to know a lot of people that work for the railroad. Eventually got a cab ride and a locomotive. Somewhere around after getting out of school, I took over my uncle's construction business in Canton, a heavy construction business, and I always had my eye on the railroad. And I spent a lot of time in the summers down by the lift bridge watching Big Colony come over the railroad with the trash train. And I used to tell some people that someday I'm going to get in the railroad business. And it's not something for the faint of heart. The ordinary person does not want to get in the railroad business. But there are some strange people like myself that actually pulled it off. And the challenges are many. I have to tell you, the challenges are very many.
Sure.
But here we are, and now. We operate the Cape Cod Central on the Cape itself. We do run some specials occasionally north of here. We've picked up people up at the Lakeville Middleborough train station on occasion. We run a special charter. But the railroad, Mass Postal Railroad, which is our sister company, which operates the freight, we now have 144 miles of railroad that extends from Framingham south all the way to the tip of the Cape into Bedford and Fall River.
So it must be very rewarding on the dinner train to see happy families and couples of people coming on and getting on board. It must be a very satisfying business.
You know, you've got a good point, and you know, I don't always take the time to relish that, but when I do come down to Hyannis to see what's going on, you know, the passengers, and to see what's going on, and if I can help Kayleen and her team out with anything going on, the people are really happy. And I always try to, when somebody's got some young children and they want to go up and see the engine, or they want to ask a lot of questions, I always take time to bring them up in the engine, let them take the pictures and all that, because that was me.
It seemed like a lot of fun. If you haven't been on the train, you really need to check it out. Great for a romantic dinner, or take family and friends. Whether you're a resident or a tourist, it's a wonderful way to spend some time, see parts of the Cape that you'll never get to see otherwise. Also, again, Christmas time, Polar Express, there were some really neat things here. So bring the family, come out, tie it into the Holidays by the Sea, a weekend here that we put on by the Chamber. Have a wonderful and magical time. From here we moved on, and for those of you who aren't familiar, Peking Palace is now the new gourmet garden. Susan Zavala from our office right here went into the grand opening and took a look around.
Hi, I'm here at the grand opening celebration of the Gourmet Garden Restaurant, 452 Main Street in Falmouth. This restaurant was formerly Peking Palace, and I'm here with owner Sharon Hong and her new partner Annie Zhang. So Sharon, tell us what your thoughts were about the change in the name of the restaurant.
I think it's a very good idea for the change the name, because the Peking Palace is only the Chinese. Right now we have Japanese and Hibachi, so that will show the people that we have Asian cuisine.
And Annie, welcome to Falmouth. You have many years experience in the restaurant business, you and your husband Jane. And so what made you choose Falmouth?
Because Falmouth is a very nice area, and people are so nice and sweet, even the school teachers. And I love this town so far. My kids live there. That's why it's one of the reasons I come here with Sharon.
You just finished a major renovation. The decor is very elegant. Who was the mastermind behind this beautiful decor?
Because I found out the Falmouth is a very nice town, but except it doesn't have the hibachi around this area. So that's why I just built my experience for hibachi and lovely sushi coming to here. So make everybody more happy, have more choices.
And your husband is also a hibachi chef?
Yes.
And a sushi chef
yes.
too. We just finished a hibachi meal. It was beautiful. Tell me again the Japanese name for hibachi. It's not hibachi.
It's a teppanyaki.
Teppanyaki.
Well, we also call hibachi.
Hibachi.
Yes.
It's delicious. I understand that you're going to be putting some tables in the front for patio dining.
We think we find out.
That's terrific.
And,
What have your customers shared with you about their new experience here at Gourmet Garden?
very happy. They say change is good, and it's also welcome the new customer, and also new customers too. Welcome.
I understand your menu is very much the same with new additions.
Yes, the old Chinese menu is still the same, but we have hibachi new menu. So
Yes,
yeah,
we
new menu.
do have the hibachi new menu
Yes.
for everyone
Open
to
up.
try. Yes. So the hibachi is very, it's a little bit different from Chinese. It's just like the ingredient order for everybody per the own dishes. So they come with appetizer shrimp, come with very delicious fresh green salad, also come with the yummy fried rice, and with every meal you choose. That's a very good one. And plus the chef's very funny show.
Yes. I think we were just in there and everyone seemed to enjoy themselves a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're here at Gourmet Garden, 452 Main Street, Falmouth. Sharon and Annie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everybody is
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, welcome.
Enjoy our Asian cuisine, right?
Yeah.
Right now you put everything.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Doesn't everything look delicious? If you haven't had an opportunity to check it out yet, the decor has been changed, the addition of the hibachi. It's really a good time, well worth the visit. We had an opportunity to sit down with Michael Loft, President and CEO of Cape Cod Healthcare, to talk a little bit about what Cape Cod Healthcare is doing to expand its role in the Falmouth community, the services that it brings to our community, and how they make a great difference and make Falmouth a phenomenal place to live, not only because of our surroundings, but because of the access to healthcare. Hi, today I'm here with Mike Loft, President and CEO of Cape Cod Healthcare. And as you know, Cape Cod Healthcare has done a lot for our members and for the Falmouth community. Particularly with Falmouth Hospital here, we're so lucky to have this facility and all that it comes with for our residents, for our members. And Mike took the time to answer some questions for us and tell us a little bit about the vision and what's going on here at Cape Cod Healthcare. So, Mike, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we really appreciate all that you've done here for the Falmouth community, and I was wondering if you could just kind of explain a little bit about your vision for Falmouth and all that's going on here in Falmouth and what you see going forward with as far as Cape Cod Healthcare.
Well, Falmouth Hospital as a part of Cape Cod Healthcare is such an important entity within our healthcare system. One, this hospital has been here for well over 50 years. It was founded by the community and strongly supported by the community. And as healthcare evolves, I think places like Falmouth Hospital will continue to be even more relevant. The fact of the matter is we've put over $60 million back into Falmouth Hospital the past 5 years. You've seen us improve not only the emergency room, you've seen us now make big, significant investments into JML. You've seen us redo all of our patient floors and make them private. We've repurposed the medical office building and brought radiation therapy here. And so much of this was the result of great philanthropic support from our community as well, and the support of the members of the chamber in our community that use Falmouth in an overwhelming manner. And we're going to continue to evolve. We're going to continue to ensure that Falmouth Hospital has an incredible place, not only in this healthcare system, but also in this community. We have well over 750 people that are employed here and working here each and every day. We make sure that the technology has the latest and greatest, because when an accident or an issue happens in Falmouth, we have to be really good. And what's even more important is we become more patient-centered. More and more people from the Upper Cape are going to be able to use Falmouth Hospital because our outreach and our brand is expanding as well. So we think we're just on the cusp of even doing more incredible things here at Falmouth.
That's wonderful. I know most of our members have used the facility, either Falmouth Hospital or one of the other facilities you have here. I know one of the things you expanded up into North Falmouth for the outpatient surgical center up there, and I think that's been tremendous. It's really allowed people to go off-site. And can you tell me your thoughts as far as that goes?
Well, I think the one thing that I stress more importantly than any other thing in the system aside from quality is access. If we can't get people in to see us, if they can't experience our brand of medicine, there's no opportunity for them to come and use us in other ways. So we've really promoted access and through partnerships. So we went to North Falmouth to provide surgical, to partner with the surgery center and also to do more endoscopy procedures up there. We've gone into Sandwich and repurposed that facility and started urgent care there and touched 25,000 people in the Upper Cape last year that we didn't even know existed, and brought them into our facility. We've invested in places like Bourne through new primary care practices, invested in Mashpee and expanding services there, and more recently opening an urgent care center on Route 28.
Sure.
And because we need to be there when patients want to see us, when they expect to see us, not when we want to see them. So by creating these new aspects of these new portals of entry, we're not only improving people's care, we're also bettering their health and lowering the cost of care, because we also know that the cost of doing business in the outpatient arena is much less than in a hospital. So if we can work hard to keep people healthy, right, and that's where healthcare is going, then we have an opportunity to also improve our health system and our community. So by investing in these new access points, we're improving people's care. And as we get into population health management, that's also better for the businesses that are in the Falmouth Chamber, because we have to ensure that you're getting high quality, high outcomes for our patients, your members, but then also to make sure the cost is reasonable, because we can't keep passing along cost increases to the business community.
Sure.
So we're really excited about moving into these new patient-centered access points, and then ensuring Falmouth Hospital is strong in the interim.
Everybody's very excited about the urgent care. And as far as locating that over on 28 in East Falmouth, did that take some time? Did you
look at a couple of different places. I mean, it seems like it's just perfectly located. So was that luck or?
You know, it's funny, I want to say this because we looked at probably 10 centers, and finally one day Dr. Rob Davis and I got in a car personally and just drove around to 5 or 6, and we just loved this spot. And you know, everybody's a real estate agent, by the way. I can't tell you how many people commented on where they thought it should be. We didn't want to be right next to the hospital. It didn't make sense, right? Because we had Sandwich, we had Bourne, we had Mashpee, but where did we draw to make sure that we were covering the most territory? And the high traffic count being a little bit outside of downtown Falmouth really made a lot of sense.
Sure.
And now people can come, you know, for those urgent procedures. And what's amazing about our model is it's still by emergency room physicians and nurses and techs at half the cost. And that's what patients want. So when you have that illness that doesn't quite rise to the level of an ER visit, you can go to one of our urgent care centers, still see our emergency room physicians, still get that great care that you're accustomed to at half the price point. And then Route 28 just made a lot of sense.
Sure.
Let's go where people are. That's part of, again, that patient-centered approach of what we want to do in the future.
Yeah, and the way it's right where Sandwich Road and 28 into 6, I mean, you've got the whole town covered, so that's just terrific.
I wish you could have been in the board meeting with me when I was proposing it.
So Dr. Rob Davis, who heads up
Yep.
the emergency services here, is he staffing that facility with ER doctors from here? Do they rotate, or
Yes.
is it a separate? Great. That's
Yeah,
just
it's the same brand. You know, that continuity, the people that we trust in our community, the providers. We have incredible physicians and nurses and techs and dietary aides. Everybody, healthcare is the consummate team sport. And when you can create that reliability and consistency through faces you know, faces you trust, we really feel people will begin to use us, and they have, and we're growing. And that's good for our community. More and more people are choosing Falmouth Hospital, Cape Cod Healthcare than ever before in our history. And we think we're onto something. We're going to continue to really push that approach to access, high quality care, patient-centered. We're there when you want us, not when we want you. High reliability, great clinical outcomes, and facilities that you're proud of.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the history here at Falmouth Hospital. And you can go around town and talk to people, and so many people will say, well, you know, my grandmother sold strawberries door to door to come up with the money. And that is true. I think a lot of people watching today know that.
That's true.
And I think it was 2 years ago, the 50th anniversary
Correct.
of the hospital. That was a big thing. And this year, big anniversary for the Visiting Nurse Association.
Yeah, 100 years, yes.
100 years. That's amazing to think about that. And I know you spoke about philanthropy, and I know how much the Cape Cod Healthcare Foundation does to help raise money for Falmouth Hospital
Yes.
and the system itself. The VNA, they're important in that as well and have helped to contribute.
Oh, the VNA is incredibly important. If you think about, again, healthcare evolving, we also know that people are going to transition back into their homes. And these incredible nurses, and you know, they go into homes from wound care to PT, to speech therapy, occupational medicine, to vitals, to medications. They do it all. They keep people healthy, give them optimism, give them hope in their own homes. And that's what healthcare used to be. When Falmouth Hospital was started, that's how it was done. And you came for catastrophic illness only. And the VNA plays a vital role in our health system. Again, we have an average daily census of almost 2,500 people when you think about all the services we have, from our active nursing association to adult daycare to hospice to other issues. So they have an incredible footprint in our community. And the VNA is just second to none. We're routinely every year known for high quality patient-centered care, and we rank in top 5% nationally on an annual basis. So the VNA is an incredible story.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have them. And as you know, with the population down here, somewhere about 33,000 full-time residents, I believe 15,000, 16,000 are considered senior citizens. So having access to that is tremendous. I know many of the members are just so thankful to have Cape Cod Healthcare here for themselves, for their employees. So many, all the realtors in town love having the hospital here because it helps drive people here. The other thing is, I don't think you can really go anywhere in town without seeing Cape Cod Healthcare involved in things, whether it's getting blood or the Falmouth Road Race. You're a partner to so many organizations. Your footprint is so wide and gives so much back to the community. And you know, as the Chamber of Commerce, we're very thankful for that. You make our town better. You make business better for us, and we just really want to thank you for all you do for Falmouth.
Well, thank you, and thank the chamber members in our community. Without your support, we can't do any of this. If people were moving away from us, we couldn't make these significant investments back in town. You know, when I became CEO, one of the first things I wanted to do was to re-energize our support of our partners in the community. That's why we wanted to promote wellness with the Falmouth Road Race. We wanted to get involved with the Chamber. We wanted to get involved with all the local groups because that's who really supports us. From construction, we try to keep it on the Cape, to where we buy our supplies from and the vendors that we use. We want it to be Cape. We want to support our local businesses and communities. So we're so proud to be a member of this community, a member of the Chamber, and we're so thankful for all the support. We owe it to everybody that participates in this community and lives in this community for being so successful and here today.
Well, thank you. Thanks for your time today and for all you do for Falmouth.
Thanks, Michael.
Okay, you're
Appreciate it. Thanks.
For those of you who've been downtown, you've noticed that the Chamber building has had a facelift. The portico, cupola, and the columns have all been done courtesy of the Community Preservation Fund. The sides and the back of the building were also painted, and we're very grateful to Sheriff Jim Cummings for providing the work crew. He took the time to come out, take a look at the work, and talk to us a little bit about the work and the program. So today, Sheriff Jim Cummings was kind enough to come out and overlook some of the work that's happening here. For most of you who've been downtown and around and seen, Chamber of Commerce is being painted by the Sheriff's Work Program. And thanks so much, Sheriff, for your work and for coming out here.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. You know, we've done a community service. It's a great program. It helps the communities out. You know, we do work for municipalities and nonprofits across the Cape. And, you know, here in Falmouth, we've done some work for the Beach Committee. We're putting in handicap ramps at Old Silver Beach and Falmouth Heights, and actually just put in new steps in the Falmouth Heights Beach. And a couple of years ago, we redid the Surf Drive bathhouse down there.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of work for the community, and we do that across the Cape, and it's a win-win. You know, the community gets to save some money, the nonprofits get to save some money, and the inmates actually get out there and they get a little bit of a work ethic going and give back to the community for whatever they may have done. So it's a real win-win, and we only do jobs that wouldn't have got done otherwise. We're not trying to take business away, especially dealing with the Chamber of Commerce from many of the good business people that we have in the community.
Yeah, I think this is the third time you've painted this building.
Yeah,
I believe so. And I have to say it's been delightful working with the deputies and the inmates who are here are very professional, wonderful to work with. It's just been a real pleasure to have them here.
Yeah, well, it's a great benefit for the inmates, you know, to be here rather than in the facility, spending the day all day in there. So they realize that and they appreciate it. And again, these are folks that within a few months are going to be released and coming right back to our community. Right. So you know, it's just a good thing for them to be out here, and they certainly appreciate the opportunity to do that.
Do they require any special training, or do any of them have a painting background, or do you teach them what they need to know?
You know, we really don't know. And sometimes we might have painters. Sometimes we might get fortunate and have an electrician or a plumber that we can use. And you know, we use whatever skills they have. But the deputy sheriffs that are assigned to the community service details have a background in construction.
I see.
Joe Braid, who's the captain in charge of it, actually has his contractor's license, and you know, is very educated in every facet of construction. And so depending what we have for capabilities kind of determines what jobs we can do. But they've done everything from putting a press box in the Gallo Ice Arena. They did a lot of work at the Falmouth Ice Arena when the community worked together to get that done. They are a non-profit here in the community. And you know, I know a lot of the businesses that the Chamber members also chipped in when they were building that ice rink, and it's up and running now and serving the community very well.
I remember when that was happening. That was obviously, that project probably could not have been done without your assistance.
Absolutely.
Yourself and the rest of the community. Are there any other big projects coming up that you're working on?
You know, well, this time of year we have the 4th of July stuff is going on, so there's a lot of preparedness for that, helping the communities get ready for that. You know, we have the access to several tents that we have inmates go out and set up, so if a nonprofit is having a function and they're not sure about the weather and might need a tent, or if it's going to be a hot day and they might need some shade, we'll get those tents out to them. And you know, the crews run around constantly on weekends, taking them down and setting them up so that we can get them to all the people who want them. Another great program that helps the community out and helps the inmates out as well.
And of course, we've taken advantage of that every year for our jingle jog and our Christmas festivities. So we can't thank you enough for all that you've done. You know, interestingly, this building is kind of like the gateway to Falmouth. You know, tourists are coming down this street here, and the first thing they do is see this building. So we're very fortunate to have the ability to call upon you, and very, very thankful that you have your men here working. And you know, we just
We just can't thank you enough, Sheriff, for all that you're doing for the chamber and for our community.
Well, you know, I live in Falmouth, and I live in Falmouth Heights, you know, so I'm not practicing any favoritism, but we like to do jobs in Falmouth, and, you know, we've come so far. I mean, Main Street now is just a major attraction.
Sure is.
Everybody in the Cape talks about Falmouth's Main Street, so it's a great place to live, and we're happy to be able to use the inmate workforce to help make it even a better place to live.
Thanks so much, Sheriff.
All right, thank you, Mike.
All the mystery surrounding what was happening at the building next to Crab Apples, lo and behold, we found out Hutka Architects moved in there with their new headquarters. We had the opportunity and the privilege to go and do a ribbon cutting and talk a little bit with Mark Hutker about what they had in store.
Okay, ready to cut? So before you cut, officially what I have to say, officially we'll say this, we do have some directives here. So, we'll never get everybody back there. So it's important for you as well. Jim, so on behalf of the board of directors and the 650 members of the Chamber of Commerce, congratulations. We can't tell you how happy we are. We can't tell you, I was saying to Mark earlier, how many people have called us and said, thank God, thank goodness, they did something with that building. It was absolutely phenomenal. So what you've done for the town, long-time members, congratulations. Yes. Wonderful. You're here. Now you can say
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Some of the other things that we've been working on in the chamber started in the beginning of the summer, where Atria Senior Living hosted a volunteer breakfast for all the folks who do volunteer here in the visitor center during the course of the year. When we get together at this breakfast, we talk about all the exciting things that are coming up during the summer and get geared up so that we can provide the very best service to the visitors to come to our town. We're really excited to have the 300 committee come in and educate our volunteers about all the hiking trails and everything there is to do outside under the auspices of the 300 committee. We sent a lot of people their way, and a lot of visitors were happier because of it. Our summer business after hours was at the Martha's Vineyard Savings Bank again. Under the tent over on Palmer Avenue, the food was delicious and it was a great time. If you weren't there, make it a point to get there next time. I'd like to thank Parkside Market for the delicious food and also for the Falmouth Jazz Band for providing great entertainment. Paul Falvey and his team at Martha's Vineyard Savings Bank, great supporters of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. We're very excited. The Woods Hole Business Association coordinated a tour of our member businesses down in Woods Hole for our volunteers. They provided great information for our volunteers to pass along to tourists and anybody else who came into the visitor center, and it was a lot of fun. We started at the Woods Hole Historical Museum, where we saw some great displays, got a great history of Woods Hole, and had a wonderful opportunity to ask questions that tourists may ask that we may be able to answer, and then direct people down to Woods Hole. From there, we walked over to Quick's Hole Taqueria, where we were treated to some great drinks and food. People had an opportunity to ask questions as well and to get a little bit of taste of what there was to offer. Then we walked across the street to the Landfall Restaurant, where Jim Estes came out, addressed the group, and told us a little bit about the history, the family history, the menu, and what visitors could expect when they came in for a meal at the Landfall. After that, we were treated to a little bit of food and drink, and that was a wonderful time. And we walked over to Coffee Obsession. That was a real treat to go in, talk to the people behind the counter, look a little bit at the artwork, and have an opportunity really for our volunteers to see everything that goes on down there, how it really is a melting pot and a great place for people to come together. Once we left Coffee Obsession, we walked up to Water Street Kitchen, which, as you know, just recently opened up. We were treated to some great oysters and drinks there. The whole decor has been redone, and it's just a wonderful menu. It was beautiful views, and it was a great place for our volunteers to be able to get firsthand right at the opening so they could also impart that on our visitors that came into town. And then we went across the street to the Captain Kidd. As usual, wonderful. The doors were open, sitting outside. Also treated some food. Boy, I'll tell you, at the end of this trip, we were pretty full. And we've had some very good events at the Captain Kidd. It's a business after hours last year. So that was a real treat to be there again. And then we wrapped it up at Shucker's world-famous Raw Bar, where Kevin and Karen treated the volunteers to a full spread of the menu, some of their signature drinks, and we had a wonderful time, again, sitting outside, enjoying it. The beauty of this whole tour was that our volunteers, the people that touch the visitors that come in here, are able to actually have first-hand experience of these restaurants and establishments, so that when visitors ask, where to go and what to do, we're able to support them by providing recommendations. So we're always open to that for any of our business members that want to coordinate either one trip to their own establishment, or if different villages want to get together, please call the chamber. We're happy to put that together and coordinate that. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you at the next edition of Coastlines Television.